Good morning, learner. Today we will learn about the research design in second session, in which we learn about the true experimental research design. Especially research design is the overall plan, blueprint of the just like any kind of the research and study. Research design also help to the study, and it also help to the data collection, also help to the data analysis, and this is also helpful to reach the specific of curriculum. Next important thing is we discuss the second session. Research design also divided into part qualitative and quantitative, and quantitative research also divided into other different classification of experimental research and non-experimental research. Next thing is the quantitative research is also divided in the experimental research, and experimental research is sub-classified into pre-experimental research design. This one was already discussed in the last session. And now we will discuss about the true experimental research design, and after that we go for the quasi-experimental research design. Important thing is, what is true experimental research design? So true experimental research design is this is the graph. You just see is the research design, quantitative research design, and experimental research design. In experimental research design is pre-experimental research design. This is the true experimental research design. The true experimental research design is the type of experimental research design under the quantitative research design. The true experimental research design is the most scientific and accurate form of experimental research. That is called true experimental research design. True experimental research design means experimental research design is the most rigorous and scientific research design. In this, the strongly established cause and effect relationship between the variable, and researcher also manipulate the independent variable to find out the effect of the control or output variables. The important thing is that is called true experimental design. It is means the researcher manipulate the independent variable, and as we manipulate the independent variable, these independent variables directly affect of the output variable. So through the true experimental research design, we try to find out. Just like we giving the example, so studying the effect of plyometric training on sprint speed using experimental and control group. Just like we discuss about the what is exactly once again the true experimental research design. This is called the most scientific and accurate form of experiment, because here we find out the researcher studies the cause and effect relationship by the controlling the variables carefully. So we can control the other factors, and in that type of research we truly find out the effect of changes to the output variable. The researcher introduce any kind of the treatment and compare its effect between the two groups. Just like we giving a simple definition, true experimental research design, a type of research design in which important thing the participant are randomly assigned to the group. It is means every participant has equal chance to select in a group. Second important aspect is in true experimental research design, the control group is used. In that type of research also we have one control group and one is experimental group. Next important thing in the true experimental research design is variable are carefully controlled. We can control the all variables. Variable may be independent and variable be dependent variable. So we can control each and every variable, and after that we easily find out the cause and effect relationship, is studied scientifically and find out the cause and effect relationship, through which we find out the actual outcome and actual effect of your treatment. That is the true experimental design. This is a definition by Creswell. This is experimental research is a type of research where the researcher check whether the treatment or program causes any changes in the result. That is the important thing. Just like the researcher in this type of training program give a treatment of intervention, and researcher control the other outsider factors. Those are effect of the output or dependent variables. The researcher divide the participant into the group, and this is an important thing. The researcher divided the participant into group, but most important thing, each group, participant dividation based on random sampling method. It means every participant has equal chance to be selected. And the researcher compared the results scientifically. According to John W. Creswell, the experimental research is a scientific method generally used to test the effect of the treatment on an outcome by the controlling other factor and using the random assignment of participants. This makes experimental research one of the most reliable research methods generally used in different experimental research design. Important thing is true experimental research design. What type of character that have? First important characteristic of true experimental research design is random assignment of the participant. It means in experimental research, participants are divided into group randomly. It is means every or each participant has equal chance to be selected. This means every participant has equal chance to joining any kind of the group. That is called the random assignment, helpful for the researcher. That is means the random assignment help to reduce the biasness. Random assignment helpful to make the group similar, and random assignment also helpful to improve accuracy or result or your outcome. Next important characteristic of experimental research design is presence of control and experimental group. It is means here the two group both are present. One group in experimental, one group in control group. Experimental research generally include two group. True experimental research generally use two group. Experimental group number one. This group received treatment. We plan, we prepare our treatment and we giving the treatment to the group. This group is called the experimental group. This group received the treatment and second group is control. This group does not receive the treatment. It means the researcher compare both group to the study the effect of the treatment. So the important thing is in true experimental research has two type of the group, experimental group or control group. Third characteristic of the manipulation of the independent variables. Important thing is the researcher deliberately change and manipulate the independent variables. Important thing is we have the dependent variables and one or dependent variables. It means the output variable. So as a researcher is our duty to giving the experiment with the independent variable. The researcher deliberately change or manipulate independent variables and try to find out the effect of the output variable. For example, we giving the exercise training, we changing the diet plan of the player, introducing a teaching method, just like the purpose is to observe the effect on the another variable. So important thing is without the manipulation of independent variables, it is not possible to find out the effect of the exercise on output variable. Important thing first, we can change in the independent variables and independent variable directly effect on the output variables. Next important characteristic of true experimental research design is control of extraneous variable. That is means the outside factors. So many outside factor effect of the performance. The important aspect for the researcher to control on all these things. Once you minimize the effect of outside variable, it is means the reliability or validity of your research outcome is high. It is means they control these type of variable to make the study fair and accurate. Sometimes just like we're giving examples, same training time, same environment, same equipment. This help to ensure that treatment alone cause the changes because we're giving the all participant each and everything like same. Next important characteristic of true experimental design is measurement of cause and effect relationship. Means cause and effect. We're giving some cause and we find out some type of effect. The experimental research helps to identify whether one factor causes change in the another factor. Important thing is, can your exercise is the effect of your health? Your health is the output variables. It is means the cause is means you do the exercise. The cause is means exercise is directly effect of your health. So to identify this type of effect, so we go for the true experimentals. This is called the cause and effect relationship. For example, whether exercise improve fitness. If you do the yoga, reduce the stress. You go the walking, can you reduce your weight? It is means cause and effect. To find out the cause and effect relationship, we will select either in that case the true experimental research. The main characteristic of experimental research are random assignment. And because means every participant had equal chance to be selected in any group. Control condition, experimental group, manipulation of independent variable, control of outside factor, and measurement of cause and effect relation. These characteristics make experimental research as means true, reliable scientific method. This is the design of true experiment. Important thing is randomization. It means first we decided the group, control, and experimented with the help of proper randomized process. Manipulation means giving the treatment, experiment, and object, and after that the control group. The control group is means the group is used for the comparison. Important thing in this type of group, first we recorded baseline assessment, then we giving the any kind of treatment, and after that we record the post assessment. Same thing will happen with the this is means experimental group. And control group collect the data from baseline assessment. Second, that no treatment and giving in a specific same times, and after that we also recorded the post data. So this is called the true experimental research design. This is the flow chart of the basic element true experimental research design. Important thing is randomization. The participant are randomly assigned to group, and it means equal chance every participant has to be selected in a group. Second is manipulation. It is means the research introduce any kind of the treatment, any kind of rehabilitation program, any kind of training. And third important thing is control group is used for the comparison. This means control group means no treatment is given to this group. Important thing, the first thing is experimental group. In first case, first through the randomization we select the participant and collect the observation before the experiment, and after that we giving the experiment of giving a specific time which was and which will you will define during your research process, and after that we also record post test data. Same thing will be happen with the post-test design but with slightly changes. First with randomization, next thing is collect the pre-test observation, same with experimental group but there is no treatment, and after the complete the treatment of experimental group, the control group data also recorded, that is called post-test assessment. This means the group is divided with the randomization and experimental group the treatment. After the experiment, report the data once again. In true experimental research design, participants are randomly assigned and treatment is given to the only the experimental group. Control group does not receive any kind of treatment and both group are tested pre and post. True experimental design generally also classified in means type of true experimental design. The three type of true experimental design is number one pre-test, post-test, control group design. Pre-test only, control group design, and Solomon 4 group design. Here we will discuss one by one. First is pre-test, post-test, control group design. In that case, pre-test, post-test, control group design is a true experimental research design in which the participants are divided two groups. First is experimental group and second one is control group. Both group are tested before the experiment through pre-test and we have recorded the both group, that is called the pre-test. Then we giving the experiment group receive the treatment of training, only the experiment group receive the training, while the control group does not receive any kind of training. Just like this, there is no training group, no training. Okay, after the treatment is completed of experimental group, both group are tested again through post-test. This is called a post-test. So this is means pre-test, experimental group for the treatment, control group no treatment, and after a treatment is complete of experimental group, the post-test data will be recorded. The researcher compare the result to determining the effect of the treatment more accurately. This is called pre-test, post-test control group design. This is the flow chart of pre-test, post-test control group design. In this type of research design, participants are randomly assigned to the experimental and control group. That is important thing is random assignment to control experiment. Both group are recorded pre-test and post-test. Only the experimental group giving the received the treatment. This is type of treatment procedure called pre-test, post-test, control group design. That is the important thing for being a the students. Which type of conditions pre-test, post-test, control group design generally used. Important thing when the comparison between two group is needed. The researcher want to study the actual effect of treatment, training program, teaching method, intervention in more scientific reliable way. It is most commonly used of the following conditions, just like so when the comparison between two group is needed. So one group received the treatment while the other act as a control. Simple important things. Next important thing is when the researcher want to accurate exact cause and effect relationship. It is means the design help to determine whether the changes are truly due to the treatment or other factors. It will be if you are design, if you try this is researcher to find out the accurate cause of effect researcher, then go for the pre-test post-test control design. An important thing in experimental research studies generally widely used in education, sports sciences, or physical education, just like the in experimental research studies generally use pre-test post-test group. Important thing when random assignment is possible. Sometimes the random assignment possible, sometimes random assignment is not possible. The participant can be randomly divided into groups. If the random assignment is possible, then we go for the pre-test and post-test control group research design. Next thing is the measurement or improvement before and after treatment and high validity and reliability are required. The design of control may many external factor and give more trustworthy result. So this is means if you are required high validity and reliability, then we go for the pre-test, post-test control group research design. Next is the pre-test only control group design. This means pre-test only control group design. Here the one experimental group, one control group. Only be giving the treatment and after the treatment recorded data. Control group no treatment and after the treatment or recorded data. Only one time we record the data after the treatment. It is post-test only control group design. This means we have two group, one group experimental, one control group. Only experimental group we giving the treatment. After the treatment we record the post treatment we record the assessment control and experimental group. It is means it's true experimental research design in which participants are randomly divided into two group, experimental and control group. The experimental group receive the treatment or any kind of the intervention while the control group does not receive it. After the treatment, only one test we conduct. This is called the post-test. It is conducted for both groups. No pre-test is taken before the experiment. So the result of two groups are then compared to find out the effect of the treatment. So this design is mainly used when giving a pre-test may affect the participant performance or influence the final result. This is the important thing of the post-test only control group research design. This is the flow chart of post-test control research design. It is means only post-test treatment is taking only when pre-test may be influence on the result. That is an important thing is use when pre-test may influence result. This means we take the first experimental group and control group. We have two group. With the help of proper randomization process, we divided the group 1 and group 2. And one group is giving the treatment and control group we're not giving any kind of treatment. After the treatment, we record the post-test observation from the experimental group or control group, and then we can compare. The important note is this: the only post-test measurement in this type of research is available. Just like you go for only post-test. The design is used when the pre-test may influence or change participants' behavior. So this type of research we can use. Next important thing is which type of condition to select a post-test only control group research design is used in the following condition. Just like we can go for the pre-testing may be affect performance. Sometimes taking the pre-test can influence the participant learning, practice, behavior. So researcher avoid it because this is effect of the performance. So we try to avoid this. You directly go for treatment and then record the observation. Next important thing is when researcher want to unbiased results. So it's helpful to reduce testing effect and give the more natural outcome. Next important thing is in true experimental study, generally we use of this type of studies. To use post-test only control group design when the participant can be randomly assigned into the experimental and control. Next important condition is when the group are assumed to be equal at the beginning. So random assignment help make the both groups similar before the treatment. So then we go for the such kind of the research. Important thing is the condition in medical, sports, education research commonly used to test effect of medicine, supplement, training, teaching effect and techniques. So when only final performance is an important. So this is very important point which is related to the physical education and sports. When only final performance is important, then we go for the such kind of research. So researcher focus only one outcome after the treatment rather than the measurement of the initial status. Third one is true experimental research design means Solomon 4 group research design. In that type of research design, we have the group 1, 2, 3 and 4 and combine the pre-test, post-test and post-test only design help to control testing effect. In Solomon 4 group research design is an advanced true experimental research design technique generally used to study the effect of treatment while also checking whether the pre-test influence the result. Important thing is so in type of research design, participants are randomly divided into the four groups. Group number one, it is means pre-test, treatment and post-test. Pre-test, treatment and post-test. Group number two, only pre-test, no treatment and post-test. Group number three, it means treatment and post-test only. Group number four, no treatment, post-test only. This group neither received treatment nor taken pre-test, only post-test is conducted. The important thing is this is the Solomon 4 group research design. This is the flow chart. This means combine pre-test, post-test only design help control testing. Different kind of the effect. So this is the first group that is called experimental group, that is pre-test, post-test. Group number two, control group, that is means pre-test and post-test. Third one is again experimental group, that is means only post-test. And fourth group is control group, only post-test only. The first experimental group is means first randomization. After that we are giving the baseline assessment and then treatment and after that post-test. Second group, that is control group. With the help of randomization we prepare the group, collect the data from pre-test, no treatment and after the no treatment and after that record the post-test observation. Third group, with the help of randomization we decided the group number 3 and we giving only treatment, no baseline assessment and after the recorded the post-test assessment. Group number 4, this is means no treatment and after the collect it the post assessment. The important thing is this is the only group number 1 and 2 are pre-test and post-test group. Group 3, 4 are only post-test only group. So we can go for the comparison between the group 1 and group 3 estimated treatment effect. Comparison between the group 2 and 4 provide the additional control. So this design help in the controlling the testing or pre-test effect. Main feature of this type of research is that is Miss Sloman for group design is combined two design. It's combined the pre-test, post-test control group design and the post-test only control group design. Important thing is. Next is control testing effects. So because he helped the researcher to know whether the pre-test itself influence the participant performance. So if you want to control testing effect, then we go for such kind of strategy. Provide more accurate result. So since 4 group are compared, important thing is the findings are more reliable and scientifically strong because we are collecting pre-test, post-test and post-test only design. Use in advanced experimental research. So this type of study generally used for the advanced experimental research. Required more time and more participant because we are divided, we are prepared 4 group and we giving 2 experimental group and 2 control group. So this require more time and more high number of participants. And what kind of advantage of true experimental research design is? Advantage of true is means high internal validity, strong ability to determine cause and effectiveness. It is means high internal validity means the design give accurate, trustworthy result because the many outside factor are controlled. Second important thing is strong ability to determining the cause and effect relationship. This type of research also helpful to researcher to clarify the identify whether the treatment actually caused the changes or not. Through this, we can easily identify. Randomization process generally used, so this is also reduce the biasness. The participants are randomly assigned in all four groups, which reduce the personal differences and biasness in this research. And control testing effect. The important thing is the design check whether the pre-test post set itself influence the final result. So this is all these process is control the testing effect. Next important thing, scientifically reliable result. In this type of research, that is four group Solomon style. So since multiple group are compared, this means findings are considered highly reliable and valid. We giving some example of true experimental research design. It means the effect of resistance training on leg strength. This is the simple example of four group Solomon style. The true experimental design or true experimental research design is most powerful design for scientific research. Is proof high control, randomization, accurate cause and effect relationship. The widely used of true experimental research design in sports, medicine, biomechanics, psychology, and physical education. The dear researcher, in the last we can conclude about the true experimental research design is considered the most scientific and reliable method of research because it uses randomization process. This play a very important role, and control group and manipulation of variable. Important thing is to establish cause and effect relationship. Design such as just like we're discussing pre-test, post-test control design, post-test only design, and Solomon four group design help the researcher to obtain the important thing is the valid, accurate, reliable result, while the controlling the outside factor or outside influence and testing effect. So this is play a very important role. Therefore, true experimental research design is widely used in education, physical education, sports sciences, psychology, and medical research for producing reliable and valid scientific evidence. So thank you very much, dear participants.